Okay, can everyone see my screen? It says ContinuOWL Learning. Okay, good. Just making sure. Perfect. Awesome. Then we'll get started. And like I said, if anyone joins later, that's totally all right. My name is Emily. I'm an associate director in the Alumni Relations office, and I oversee our lifelong learning. And so that includes our ContinuOWL Learning program, which are most of our online learning resources. I'll go over all of the resources first, and there will be time for questions in the end. So if you do have any specific questions, I will do my best to answer them, but hopefully the presentation will answer some of them as well. And then I will send the copy of the slides as well as a recording by Monday. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon. The ContinuOWL Learning is sort of the umbrella that we use for all of our lifelong learning programs currently. And so here's just kind of a general overview of all of the programs that we currently have. So we have Coursera for Rice alumni, which is a new benefit we were able to get for all alums. And you get free access to online courses and specializations developed by Rice faculty. And we'll go in more depth about all of these as well. We have webinars that are accessible online. We have both a book forum and a book club. And then we also have a new program coming out called Hoots and Hobbies, which will be a combination of online and in person. And the main goal is really to do more like skills and passion-based learning, not just academic learning. So these are kind of our general programs that fall within the ContinuOWL Learning program currently, but hopefully we'll have even more in the future. All of these can be accessed at any time on the ContinuOWL Learning page. And so that's where I'll navigate to after this. I'll show you all what it looks like from here. So you can see we have our ContinuOWL Learning logo. And this is a page, like I mentioned before, where you're able to go through all of these programs. There'll be more information on all of them. They'll have the links to access all of them. So it's really probably the easiest sort of one-stop shop, and I'll put it in the chat as well, for where to go if you have questions on any of these or if you wanted to access any of them. I would recommend first going to this web page, and then you can always shoot us an email if you have further questions. The first resource that we're going to go over is going to be Coursera, because that tends to be the resource that we have the most questions about. We're really excited about this benefit, about having Coursera available. I just wanted to highlight some of the things that I feel are important to know and some of the things that we get pretty frequently with questions. And so the main benefit of Coursera for Rice alumni that's different from just accessing Coursera on your own is that you can earn shareable certificates at no cost. You can do all of the assignments in Coursera. You can get graded quizzes, graded projects, anything that's in Coursera that would require like a feedback component, the grading, the sharing of like a certificate or a badge. You can get all of those for free if you're using the Coursera for Rice alumni, as opposed to if you're just going through Coursera, then you would need a membership or possibly to pay for the course in order to get those like badges and certificates and the graded pieces. Usually you can do the course for free on Coursera, but you can't get any of the graded pieces or badges or certificates. The things that are important to know if you want to use Coursera for Rice alumni is that it only includes the Rice courses and specialization. So I will show y'all what that looks like in a second of like what types of courses and specializations are on there. But we have had questions in the past of like, I want to take an IBM course or I want to take a Google course. And of course, we wish we could give you access to that, but since it's not our like intellectual property, that's not included in the benefit. And so it only includes the Rice courses and Rice specializations. So that's the things that are made by our faculty. You have to use the specific Coursera for Rice alumni link to access Coursera for Rice alumni. And so the link is on the ContinuOWL page, and in any emails you receive about being able to use Coursera, they will all feature this link. That is the link you have to go through to access Coursera for Rice alumni. So if you just try to log into Coursera with your Rice alumni email, it won't help you. You have to go to the specific Coursera for Rice alumni page. You have to create an account using an @alumni.rice.edu email address. Again, I'll show you like where you would log in or create an account with that email address. If you don't already have an alumni.rice.edu email, then you can go through the Rice portal, which we talked about last week, and go through there and request an alumni email address. If you have more questions about that, there is information on the alumni page about how to get an alumni email address. And that's just the kind of ending email address you'll need to log in. And that gives you automatic access so that we don't have to go in and like manually approve you when you're trying to make an account. If you use that email, then it'll work. Alice asked if the slide deck will be shared. It will be shared. So I will share both the link to the slide deck and then also the link to the recording as well. And then if you already have a Coursera account and you would like to merge your account, so we have had a few people reach out about that, we are unable to do that for you. And so you do have to contact Coursera. So I have it linked here. We'll go through some additional resources now. So the link of please contact Coursera will take you to Coursera's like how to contact us page. And so on here, they'll have information about like how you can chat with them or submit a contact form to be able to ask them to see if you can merge your account. Since like I said, that's not something that we're able to do with like our admin approvals. Okay, so I'm gonna show you first how to log into Coursera. And then I will show you kind of what is available on Coursera. So my permissions are different, which is where I'll show you what it looks like in an incognito window. Because with my permissions, I'm an admin, so my login looks a little bit different. But this is what the link will take you to. So the Coursera for Rice Alumni link will take you to this homepage. You can kind of see like what is in the catalog. We are updating it pretty frequently in terms of like what we're highlighting. And then anytime that Digital Learning at Rice puts out a new course, we'll update it with that course as well. So where you're going to go to log in is where it says login on this page. So like I said, you're going to stay on this Coursera for Rice Alumni page and you're going to click login. It's going to ask login with Rice University or email and password. Do not use the login with Rice University unless you're like logged in with your email. It's going to mess up your email otherwise. And we've had a lot of people with issues of that, of like, I don't want to have to log out of my personal Gmail to be able to log into Coursera, but that's what it's asking me to do. So don't click on that option. That would be like if you, so like that's the option I would use because I'm a staff member. And so I have like a net ID, right? So that's, and I'm always logged into my Rice email. That's what I would use. I would recommend using the email and password, not the login with Rice University, email and password. So if you don't have an account yet, you can go to the bottom where it says new to Coursera, sign up. That's what you'd click on. This is where you would put your name. And then for the email address, this is where you would put like, for example, emily@alumni.rice.edu. That's where you would put your alumni email address, would be in that email section. You'd create a password and then you would join for free. And it should give you access after that to this Coursera page. And then when you go back to log in again, you would just log in using that @alumni.rice.edu email address and whatever password you created. If it's giving you trouble for whatever reason, so like if you go through all of that and you're finding that you're still not able to access it or it's giving you issues, you're always welcome to email me or email the alumni inbox. So I'll put my email in the chat. But yeah, you can always email me. There is kind of a back end way where if it's really giving us issues, then I can add you with your personal email individually. It's just that that has to be done like manually on a person by person basis. And so that's not our preferred default. And we have had a lot of people who were able to log in this way. So I would recommend trying this first. It'll be the fastest. You don't have to wait for me to respond or anything like that. You just create an account and then log in with your alumni email and password. So again, just want to reiterate, don't use the login with Rice University, use the email and password, and just make sure for your email, you're using your alumni email address. And like I mentioned earlier, if you need to create an alumni email address, you can do so in the Rice portal. Okay, so let's pull the other page back up. Okay, I'm going to show y'all now like what courses actually are in Coursera. So I've organized them currently by our entire catalog at the top, and then our like learn new skills at the bottom. So if you go to like the learn new skills section, this is where I've put all the things from our catalog that are related to maybe more like business skills or industry skills. So it's more skills-based learning, right? So you have like business stats, project management, some communication skills courses. Um, that's what you're going to find in this kind of skills section. And then our general catalog has all of the courses that you can access. And so we try to highlight at least one course quarterly. So the one that we highlighted in our first quarter was business stats and analysis. And then any other courses that we want to highlight, I'll always be moving to the front, so they're the easiest to find. So for example, we have a Brains in a Bar with James D'Amico, who's the professor who did the Story of Economics Coursera course. And so we're featuring that. And then at Alumni Weekend, we're going to have Molly Morgan, who's the professor who did the Intro to Archaeology course. And so that's going to be featured as well. So if you log in, you might notice that this kind of top four is changing from time to time. And that's just because we're featuring different courses all the time. We want it to feel fresh and new to you. We don't want you to have to go through all the heavy lifting of being like, oh, what looks interesting. We kind of want to show you, you know, what some things you could take. So when you go to here, you want to click on that show 8 more. You can keep clicking that to go through the whole catalog. There's just way too many specializations to be able to like show them all at once. So if you keep clicking it, then it'll show you all of the specializations we have available. A specialization is just a grouping of courses. So for example, if I scroll up to a story of economics, it'll open the course. So you can see here, you can enroll. The starts October 9th is, it's gonna say whatever date it is today. That's what the start date is gonna be on here. And then you can go in, you can see how long it's likely to take, what the reviews are, the recommended experience, and then it'll show you what you'll learn and the skills that you'll gain. And then you can see here if you're going to be able to earn some kind of certificate or badge at the end of it. So you can see if you finish this specialization, then you'll earn a shareable certificate that you can link to your LinkedIn. The other thing to show is that, like I mentioned before, a specialization is just a grouping of courses. And so you can see here that it's this specific course is a grouping of 3 different courses. So you don't have to do the whole specialization. You could click on the course that you wanted to do and just do this course. So for example, like you only want to do the intro to economics right now, you can just click on it and enroll in that specific course instead of doing the whole specialization. You can also see how many modules are in it. So if you scroll down, it'll show you the modules, and then it'll show you how many hours they anticipate it'll take you to finish it. So you can kind of get a good idea that way. And then it'll show you at the end of if you finish everything in this course, you get a career certificate, which is really exciting. You're able to share your career certificate and you're able to add it to LinkedIn. So really cool that you're able to do that. With Coursera, the other thing that I wanted to point out is that with the special, so because everything is grouped into specializations, otherwise we would have like hundreds of courses listed on here, and that would be very complicated to look at. If there's a general topic that you're looking for, you can look for like that in a specialization and then find the course that you want. So for example, let's say with business finance and data analysis, you know that you want to do something in that. I would click on that and then I would go down and look at, okay, what are the actual courses this is made up of? And are these the specific course I want to do? So like I said, I don't want you to feel like you have to do a whole specialization and commit to that, especially when it says it's going to take like 12 weeks to 5 months. It's just a grouping of courses and you can do the courses on their own without doing the whole specialization. So it's really just how they're grouped on the page. But you can go through all the specializations and find some like more specific courses that you might be looking for. So like if you just wanted accounting, you can just take the accounting course and get that accounting career certificate for your LinkedIn. And then it'll be the same for all of these different specializations. The only difference would be like if it says course, I believe this is our only course is America Through Foreign Eyes. Everything else is going to be a specialization, which is that grouping of courses. So that's really the main things I wanted to highlight with Coursera. You can use the search tool here as long as you're on this page and you're searching, it should just pull up the courses that are within the RICE system. So it shouldn't be pulling up like IBM or Google as long as you're on this page. Does anyone have any questions about Coursera before we move on to the next tool? And like I said, we'll also do questions at the end. I just want to make sure that while I'm sharing my screen and we're on Coursera, if there's anything that you wanted to see or that I didn't answer, then I'm making sure to address that if I'm able to. There's also some things that I won't know and that we'll have to reach out to our digital learning department or Coursera itself. But like I said, if you ever contact me with a question and I don't know it, I'm just going to reach out to those people who hopefully do know the answer. And sometimes they don't either, and we have to get back to you and be like, this is a new question for us. But that's always a good thing. So that's Coursera. I'm going to switch back to the presentation and go through some of the next options. But again, if you have other questions about Coursera, feel free to put them in the chat and we can always return to them at the end. So that's going to be at the top of the ContinuOWL Learning site that I put in the website before. The next thing on here is going to be the RICE webinars and online events. And so we partner with an organization that creates a lot of really great webinars and online events. And so if you click on that link, this is the page it will take you to. And so you can see here all of the upcoming events and you can view all of them to see like what's interesting. So for example, let's say I am really interested in demystifying AI agents. I don't know anything about AI. I want to know more about it. You can click on that and then you're able to register here. And once you register, then they'll send you the link to view it through your email and they'll send you reminders as you approach it. Let's say that you're not able to join, usually it's at like 11 a.m. On a weekday. Let's say you're not able to join at that time. All of the events on here are recorded. And so you can go to view past recordings either here or here, right, past events. And you're able to look at all of the previous recordings. They are uploaded to this page. And so all you have to do is register and then they'll send you a link to view it. So it's really easy. And it's really nice that you're able to go back and look at them all on your own time. Like I said, if you can't join live. If you join live, I believe there is like a Q&A feature so you can ask questions. But if you're doing it on demand, then at least you can, fast forward, look at the parts you want to look at and do it on your own time. There's tons of different topics. You can either use some of these kind of topic tabs to be able to filter it into like what you're looking for. For example, if you want to do career growth, here's all the career growth webinars that are either upcoming or previous. And then, like I said, for the previous ones, if you register for them on their pages, you'll get the recording and you can watch it on your own time. And there's recordings from last year, from years ago. So there's lots and lots of things to look through on here. And like I said, a lot of different subject matter as well. They'll have everything, if you look at like the upcoming events, everything from self-awareness to AI to productivity to neurodivergence. And so there's always new topics being added here. And we'll usually try to feature at least one or two in the @RICE newsletter that gets sent out every month. We'll try to feature a different upcoming webinar there as well. So you have kind of an idea of what they are posting. But that's a really great resource if you're looking for some advice or information on different topics. It's always good to look through there to see if maybe they had an expert or an author be able to cover that. For an email notification whenever a new webinar is upcoming, I don't believe they'll notify you every time there's a new upcoming webinar, since they are uploading them pretty frequently. But like I said, we will have it linked in the @RICE every month. So if you receive the @RICE newsletter, there will always be a link in there to check back at like what they're doing. And it should highlight one or two of the new webinars that they're posting about. And then they also post about the webinars on our RICE Alumni Instagram page as well. And then once you register for a course, there should be options as well about what you want your email communication to look like specifically for these webinars. So that is our current webinars. We'll also have every so often kind of one-off webinars that are like with Rice faculty or staff. And those will generally be posted on our Rice Alumni events page as opposed to on the Rice webinars page, like on this ContinuOWL site. But I'll go over that because it's also related to our book club. So I'll show you kind of how you can look at things like that after. Next, we're going to talk about our book club and book forum and what the difference are between those two because it can be kind of confusing. And so when we're looking at the book club versus the book forum, so this is what our book forum looks like. It's different than the book club in the sense that it is asynchronous. So you can log on at any time. It's completely text-based. Sometimes there will be an author talk, but that would be the only time where like you would log in at a certain time. Aside from that, completely text-based. So that's why we call it a forum. It has a professional moderator. So a professional book club moderator is making the topics and moderating the discussions. And then you can participate at any time that works for you. And they usually post new prompts every week. And then they read one book over the course of about 2 months or 10 weeks. The virtual book club is led by Rice volunteers, Rice alumni volunteers. It's Zoom-based discussions every month on the second Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. And this will be on our events page. And so this is synchronous, so it's happening at a specific time. And it's with a group of people who are reading the same book every month and then meeting online to talk about it. So that's really the main difference between the two is that one is completely text-based. There's no meetings. It's just kind of a forum to discuss the book. And there's guided questions for that discussion every week. And then the other book club is volunteer run, Zoom-based. It happens once a month. A new book's being read every month. And you're talking about it with people in that Zoom call. So to look at the book forum, again, that's going to be on our ContinuOWL site. So if you go there, you can join now. It's completely free. And then all the ContinuOWL things, if they're online, they're free. The only time where it might cost money is if it's in person or if there's some kind of like kit or thing that we're sending you involved. So for example, we're doing an in-person crochet class for Hoots and Hobbies, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So for anything like that, where we're giving you like a crochet kit, then you're just paying for part of the cost of the kit. Otherwise, everything else is usually free. And so it'll show you here how it works, what the selection is. You can see if you wanted to join this in January, so that would be like the next book. Then it'll show you what that book's going to be, if there's going to be an author talk. And then you can see the books that have been read in the past, as well as some frequently asked questions. So like I said, entirely online, entirely free. The other thing to note with this is that, so it says like January to March selection here. If you wanted to make an account right now, you can join the current book. Once you log in, so once you hit join now and log in, then it'll pop up with the current book and the current chat happening with that book. So this section is always just going to be the next selection so that you have like more time to get the book and be following along every week. But because it is asynchronous, you can always log in now and just go back through the old discussion questions. There's no one saying that you have to wait until the next one. So that's the book forum. The book club, like I mentioned, is going to be in our events page. So if you go to alumni.rice.edu/events, this is where you're going to be able to find the book forum or book club, so the one that actually meets every month. So we have a new event filters tool here, and this is where if you're looking for virtual events, you can filter it by virtual events. And if you filter it by virtual events, then all of these are just going to be events that are happening online, and that's where you'll find our Rice Alumni Virtual Book Club. So like I said, they read a different book every month. It'll always be posted here about 1 to 2 months in advance. And then it's always 7 to 9 p.m. second Wednesday of the month on Zoom. And when you register, you'll get the Zoom link sent to you. And so you can scroll down, you can see the December pick, the January pick. So like I said, we update it pretty frequently. Our book club's really good about getting us their selections far in advance, so you have lots of time to prepare and to see if you want to join. They also do a lot of different genres. So I've seen them do mystery, nonfiction, fiction. You can see there's the mystery. So yeah, there's a lot of different options if you're interested in meeting other bookish alums. So those are our two book clubs. And then, like I said, we always put our webinars here as well. So you can also always look through the events page at the virtual events to see those webinars. Or you could also filter for ContinuOWL Learning. And then this will also show you all of the upcoming ContinuOWL Learning events. So that's just how you can kind of navigate that events page to filter for these specific types of events. So like I mentioned before, the new program that we're kind of adding within our lifelong learning programming is Hoots and Hobbies. It's going to be a mix of virtual and in person. And we are always seeking recommendations for topics and alumni to partner with. And that's really our main goal, is to create a community where alums and faculty and staff can come together to learn new skills, new hobbies, new things that are not necessarily just about academic topics from fellow alums, faculty, and staff. So this is an example of our online Hoots and Hobbies that's coming up this month. But it's going to be a meditation and breathwork class, and that's going to be led by a Rice alum who got trained on it, on like meditation and yoga. And then, like I mentioned before, we have our second one coming up after that in November, and that's going to be in person. And that's with an alumni-owned yarn shop. They're going to host a crochet class. So we're hoping to do a lot of different things, but we're just trying to kind of expand, what you can learn with Rice Alumni and how we can continue to feature alumni and the really cool things that, alums are always doing in different ways. So this is one way. So this is where both I'd recommend checking it out if it interests you, but then also if you have something you'd like to share with the Rice community, if you know of someone who you think would be a really great fit, then definitely let me know, and I'd be happy to work together. We're always looking for recommendations. Those were all of the programs that I wanted to highlight. Are there any questions now that we've been through our entire ContinuOWL Learning programming catalog? I'd be happy to answer them. Yeah, and I can go back and share different screens depending on what would be helpful to see. Are the Hoots and Hobbies recorded for future viewing? Yes, so we will record them. I would just ask that you register for the event, and then if you're not able to attend at that time, we'll send you the recording after the event is done. If you don't register for it, then we wouldn't be able to send it to you because we wouldn't know that you'd want to see it. But definitely, if you see an online event and you don't think you can make it, always reach out to us. Usually we do record them. The exception is sometimes some alumni panels we don't record just because we want to respect when alums are giving their advice if they want that to be a little more private or not on the record. But everything else we try to record. And if we do record it, then as long as you register for it, you'll be able to access the recording. That's a great question. Coursera certificates. You shouldn't have to add your Rice alumni email to your LinkedIn. It should be able to sync. You can add additional email addresses to your Rice alumni account. Let me find the article really fast about that because there is a Coursera article that explains how to use, oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the chat as well. But this article explains how to add an alternative email address to your account. So you can add your personal email to your account under the alternative email address. And then that way you'll have more than one email. So you won't just have your alumni email in there. But if you have any issues with it, like I said, let me know. And then I'll reach back out to our digital learning folks and we'll try to find a solution. But that's the advice that they've given me in the past. Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm glad that I could share all these resources with y'all. Like I mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or reach out to our alumni inbox. And I will send y'all the link to the slides as well as the recording at a later time. But thank you for joining me today. We'll be doing Ask an L next week. So that's our online career tool. But we're really thankful to y'all for joining us. So thanks, everyone.